this is what I look, just imagine this on a plane with two people on both of my sides. Mama Chuck here from Amman, Jordan. I hope you enjoyed that little initial clip of some really nice panoramic scenes here in Jordan. So today's video is about internationally traveling or domestic traveling when you have to exclusively pump or breastfeed or both. And I have had to do it twice already, with my firstborn at 4 months old and my second at 1 year old, and I've had to do it 2 different ways, and I'm here to share with you what I learned. So first of all, I'll have a table of contents, so whatever you're interested in knowing about, you will find it in the description box below, and I will have the timestamps for you, so you don't have to watch the whole video if you don't want to. So for those of you that are new to my channel, I have a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, and as you can imagine, traveling just a few hours is an extremely stressful process, and imagine having to do it for a 24-hour journey across the world. So that's what I did twice. And I have a lot of tips and tricks in general on how to deal with traveling with toddlers, and things I've learned and mistakes I've made, which I will release in my next video. But this video is specifically about how to pump and what you need to know when it comes to going through TSA with your Willow pump or your Elvie pump or even a regular pump, when it comes to batteries that you need to carry, and everything you need to know. I will address it in this video. Let's go ahead and start with the 2 ways I've had to do this. With my firstborn at 4 months old, I was kind of ignorant when it came to traveling and having to breastfeed and or exclusively pump. With my firstborn, I had to exclusively pump. So what I did not have the Willow or the Elvie, which are, they're basically cordless pumps, battery, rechargeable, really easy to use when you have to be out in public. But I will put the links for those in the description box below, and just so you know, everything that I mention in this video will be in the description box below. So what I had to do is I used the more economical way, because I didn't think I wanted to go ahead and buy an expensive pump, and I used the Medela hand pump, which I will show you now. I used the Medela Advanced. I also had a battery pack for it, and I was able to use the rechargeable batteries, which again I will show you with the links in the description box. With those pumps, I was able to get through it, but it was very difficult. As you can imagine, this is what I look, just imagine this on a plane with 2 people on both of my sides. And it was just pretty awkward having to do that. And it was very tough and emotionally draining. And then when I felt like pulling out my Medela, my other plug-in-the-wall Medela with the battery pack, I went ahead and pumped with that, but that was a little more painful because you had to put on the bra and then you had to put it on and then go ahead and pump. So on the plane, I strictly used the manual pump. But when I got to a layover where I was able to find some privacy, I used the Medela Advanced and I put the battery pack, all in the description box below. So that was my first trip, which was very difficult for me, and at that point I had to completely stop pumping because it extremely drained me having to do it that way. So with my second, which is this trip, I have the Willow, which made things a lot more easier, faster, and just, oh my gosh, was it worth the money. So with the Willow 2.0, I was able to either use the bags, which are perfect, and I will tell you why when it comes to TSA and going through TSA, or I was able to use a container if I've reached the hotel or in layover where I can easily empty the milk in a clean, sanitary way and use it. I had a lunchbox, a refrigerant pack that I froze the day before I had to fly, and the Willow pump / Elvie, and the bags, and any other baby stuff that you needed. So let's talk about TSA and getting through those checkpoints at airports. Domestically in the US, it was actually really easy because I only had enough milk to supply for the trip, so I didn't have to carry a lot of milk. And usually if it's in what TSA.gov says, that if it's in reasonable quantities, you can get through TSA really easily. Rest assured, breast milk is exempt from the limited liquid quantity that you have to take through TSA. So in the US, it was really easy getting through TSA. It was pretty normal for me. I always get flagged at the TSA line because they see all these liquids and they just have to test them. So it was really easy. I will also let you know that there are, if you are carrying a bigger quantity of milk, it does need to stay in a frozen state. So you have to make sure that I really highly recommend you check the guidelines at the airports you're going to be going to, especially laying over. I had to lay over in London. In the London airport, you have to make sure that if you're traveling with bigger quantities of breast milk, that each container is no more than 2 liters. So that's where you have to just make sure that you're checking all your airport guidelines. Just knowing that, I was able to safely transfer all the breast milk through both airports. Oh yes, if you are wondering about batteries and battery packs and all that stuff, I was able to get through all TSAs with those. There was no concern. Okay, this brings me to charging. So for charging, like I said, there's a few options for you. First of all, if you're taking your Medela Advanced, I use these rechargeable batteries, and then I used a battery pack, and again, all of these are in the links below. I used the Medela, the specialized Medela battery pack, and then I used the manual Medela pump, so I didn't really need a charger for that. For my second trip for the Willow pump, here's the good news, guys. Willow pump is dual voltage, so you can put input from 110 volts to 220 volts. So I got the Anchor battery pack that I was able to use for my Elvie. Obviously, as you guys know, the Elvie is really easy to charge because it's a USB cable. The Willow did need an adapter, so I also got, for anybody that wants to know, a adapter / converter. So just in case you have any other electronics, I got the all-in-one converter, which has a converter mode, and an adapter, which basically just adapts your plug-in to wherever you're going to be going to, and their outlets. So that's what I got. Also in the links in the description. To summarize for you, if you have to go the more economical route, I would get the Medela manual pump, the Medela battery pack, or the Medela adapter, and the Medela advanced, which should be covered by your insurance. If you have the means and can invest in a Willow or Elvie, and if you are wondering which one works better for you, I have a lot of videos on my channel that addresses all of that. I have a few videos in the links in the description box below, starting with the Elvie versus Willow. I would check those out, but if you can invest in those are the best option when you are about to travel, because all you have to do is pop them in and travel and not worry about anything and just take them out when you're done. I really hope you found this video helpful. Please stay tuned, subscribe, and check out my next video on lots of great tips and tricks on how to travel with 2 toddlers, a 1-year-old and a 2-year-old, which, as you can imagine, is very, very difficult. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys soon. Hey guys, Mama Shark here. As you can see, I am in Jordan, and I've had to travel internationally. This is my 2nd time, but this time it's with 2. One is a 1-year-old and the other one is a 2-year-old, and as you can imagine, it was intense. But I'm here to tell you that breastfeeding and exclusively pumping, or just pumping and breastfeeding at the same time, is totally possible through this long 24-hour journey. Anyway, just wanted to show you the cool scenery. Look at this beautiful city, guys.